It's moving. It's just slow today. Like there's nothing going wrong. It's just very slow. All right, it is a happy Thursday, Jess. We are back, and I've got a lot to discuss on today's episode with just us because there's just so much to break down. But, like, first off, I have to tell you what I've been doing for the last handful of days, and this is a extremely important marketing lesson for those that love acronyms and 38-page PDFs and not explaining things to people. Jess, I am at an exciting time where we are building a pool in our backyard. Everything was good. We had a last second hurdle on getting our permit across that made it take like 5 weeks to try to get this thing to the finish line. But without going like too scorched earth, Jess, on our township, the one thing I've learned in the last couple of weeks is if you have a customer or internal partner or anyone that they're not getting the concept, even if you think they should get it, Jess, even if we say do text overlay and watch videos on mute and they're not just getting it, don't send a PDF that's 38 pages long that doesn't let you hit Command F to find something because it was scanned with Brad's. Like, don't just drop one line in the email. Just have a 5 minute conversation with the customer or partner. That's my life lesson, and my vent is over as I get this thing built.
Okay, so we're delving into user experience here as
Yes.
well, and that is marketing. It's
Yes.
all marketing.
It's efficiency too. So, like, I had this conversation. This is unrelated, like work stuff. Like I said that, hey, like sometimes I get people to like, hey, Andy, I don't know if I know you're busy. I don't want to like trouble you or have a 30-minute call. I was like, just Teams me and we'll talk for 10 minutes because, in my opinion, that's more efficient than the mental power I have to use to like do 10 emails back and forth. So I don't know, maybe I'm different, but I'm always just like, let's talk it out. Like just dropping the PDF in, like, man, that's like it just doesn't work for me unless it's like really quick.
This absolutely applies to everything that we do these days with the media overload, the consumption overload, clear, simple, making it efficient, making it easy to understand. That is the value
And easy
that
to
you,
understand for your audience, not
yes,
you, your audience. That's who's going to be correct on this.
yes,
So, perfect segue. Like, admittedly, Jess, I've been under a little bit. We talked about going under rocks and coming out of rocks. So, I went under a
yes.
marketing rock for a little bit just because there was a lot going on at the household. I went to visit my parents, and like, I was like, you know what? Like, it's been kind of just good and chill to focus on my music class I was in, to focus on spring is starting to come. And, I came out of the rock this weekend for Coachella. And you've spent more time in California than I have, Jess. So I know you're very familiar with Coachella. So I'm curious, have you been following the headlines, the media sensations? Because I'm back in like marketing swing now. I have some thoughts on it.
I am not. I was going to say sadly not, but no, it is not sad. Andy, I am not amused that this is what you came out of the rock or
Yeah.
came under the rock from. I was listening to things because it did pass me by this year. I was
Yeah.
listening to things this morning and I had it on YouTube on speaker, and my husband had to walk out of the room. It was that
What are you
painful.
listening to?
So
Yeah.
what is happening at Coachella, the whole influencer environment, it was so painful. He had to walk out of the room. So
Yeah.
I thank you, Andy, for bringing this to the
Bringing this up.
table.
Yeah. So Are you familiar with like the upbringings of it? Because like me, like Coachella, like so I grew up in Texas. What I'm familiar with when it comes to festivals is South by Southwest, Austin city limits, and I'm kicking myself. We should have had an episode on that because I got some thoughts on South by. Maybe another time we'll pick up on that because that ends up into where I think you're going with Coachella. So like I honestly knew it existed. It like started as kind of like more of the hipster, like cool, you're out in the desert, like artsy like crowd. And then it's somewhere along the lines it's become this like mainstream corporate thing. And I think that's what a lot has to do with the influencers. And honestly, I didn't know a whole lot about it till then because it just I don't think crossed over to my Texas roots. And it's probably because like if we were to do something like that, we go to like our local festivals versus going out west festivals. So like that has like gotten me into the web of trying to like learn what all these changes are and why people are a little bit frustrated with the changes. And I think the thing we keep seeing is like like the bougie influencers, the like $40,000 like VIP suites are in. And I started looking at the prices, Jess, like this is like going to like the Super Bowl at this point. Kind of caught me off guard. Like I didn't expect it to be cheap, but I didn't expect it to be like $299 premium parking also.
It's so funny that you mentioned the Super Bowl because that's how it's being branded now as the influencer Super Bowl. And
Hmm.
yes, you are correct, spot on with your analysis. It from what I saw from some of the reviews and the commentary, it's turned into an influencer brand S show. It's completely lost
Hmm.
the the energy, the heart of going to listen to good music, and people are not amused. I'm
Yeah.
not the only one. People are
Yeah.
not amused, and it's really really creating a bad taste in the consumer's mouth.
Yeah. So how do you feel though if they're like changing the consumer? Because like right now, so I was reading that 60, I think it was 63% of the people who attended it had to be on a payment plan to be able to attend. So like you're gonna have the consumer that is like trying to like get into like the bougie like festival and is like making a way to get there, kind of like maybe we'll just make an example of me being like 23 going to Vegas where it was basically like I had to deplete my savings account just to go. So and then you have the ones that are there, like influencers, like everything's paid for. It's really bougie. Like they got all the stuff, and there's like this huge gap of what they get, and that's something I've been watching. So like the ones that are like, hey, payment plan, for instance, like a lot of them are like in their camper and they're like showering with like water bottles and like a bar of soap in their tent. And then you have these others that are like in these villas, and I was like, okay, this is like interesting. Like there's like a huge like gap right here and like what's being portrayed. So I actually saw some clever influencers, and Jess, you should go back and watch these because you might appreciate them more. It's like, what do you get as a normal person at Coachella? And it's like a normal person influencer going through their day of like how they're bathing with like a water bottle and using porta potties and like eating like $30 slices of pizza. So I thought that was interesting. It's like a different angle, but I feel like that's like the hidden angle right now. Like that's not the influencer that Coachella wants to push. They want to push like the bougie influencer. So it makes me wonder: are they changing their audience right now? And is this like very intentional?
Totally. I saw videos of these influencers prior to the show putting in their marketing pitch for why one of the brands should be picking them up. And
Mm,
basically it was awful. It was
yeah,
so cringe. It really was like going into the depths of influencer culture, and I wanted to
yeah,
retreat. I wanted to walk out of the room with my husband as well. I mean, it
yeah.
was pretty upsetting and,
So
and devastating. So I absolutely do think the the festival, again, the heart, the spirit of it has changed. It's totally a corporate play now. It's totally just for the influencers to to show what's happening. It's not about the music. Yes, it's changed for
Yeah.
sure. And you
Were
know
you,
what I find funny? When you think about this, because we talk about Fry Festival a lot,
Mhm.
and I feel like Fry was trying to go that route, trying to make it an
yeah.
influencing marketing event, and it turned into a disaster. Yet, like people were just all up in arms about it being a disaster. But I'm like, well, is Coachella that much different? I mean, I guess maybe it
No.
is because you're in these suites and you're 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 getting all this free stuff. So it's a little different than Fry, but I found it funny that there was like this contrast of people going off the wall and off the rails with the disaster that was Fry. And it's like, well, is Coachella that much off now?
They did have, I think I am reading, they did have record attendance. So the attendance is still there. I just wonder, like, as a brand, like, the best way I could put this, like, for those maybe not as, like, familiar with, like, music festivals, like, I think this would be, like, let's say Macy's try, like, I know Macy's has its own problems, like all those stores have some issues right now, but let's just say Macy's in their heyday, like it's still doing good, all of a sudden over a course of 3 years decides they want to be Dior. Like that's kind of like how I feel, like they're trying to, like, it's a rebrand almost, but it's still like branded as like music. So yeah, it's really interesting. Like I think it's some of the same things that I would say in Austin, like South by Southwest has suffered from a lot of this. Like what they would say over there is all the tech companies took over the whole festival. So like feels like you're on a walking billboard all the time. The thing that I think is interesting is like I get like, especially you almost have to keep trying to one up yourself. It's like we had this artist, now we want to one up our headliners, and you keep doing that. You need more money each time to continue doing that. But it's like, what is the balance of the brand? Like, so for instance, like right now, and this is where is a great marketing discussion. If you are a paid media person, you look at the numbers of Coachella right now, and you're like, we had a great year. Like the brand is stronger than ever. If you're like a brand lift person and you're like identifying what is the sentiment of the brand right now, then you might be like, hey, like for the music folks, it's going down a bit. It's like high for the influencers. Like, do we got to do some brand control? And I think that's what's interesting about all these discussions when you are in a marketing room and why so many voices are important in how you blend that together.
And I think it can absolutely be used as a cautionary tale for B2B right now in thought leadership and what we're telling all of the executives, all of the company heads to do on the platform when we're talking about authority and influence. And it's like, don't go this route.
Yeah.
Don't,
Yeah.
avoid at all costs. Because when that authenticity change, that spirit, when it changes like this and it does become just all about the brand and the influencer and not enjoying the actual moment and all about like what content am I putting out live.
Mhm.
Like in the moment, I got to stay up all night to get the content out before the next day starts. It just comes off so fake. So it's why would I listen to you when I know that you have been bought and paid for, and that is
Yeah.
why you're there.
And what I want to say too, and because I've had a mixture of content. I do think at this event there are some good influencers that are there. Like the ones I told you about. It's like here's my like natural experience. Like it's like showing them by like the $30 pizza. Like that's like real like just like raw. Like you and I. Like hey, this is what I experienced there. So there is a mixture of that. But I think what you're saying, Jess, it is very clear right now, and this is an influencer thing I think we're going to see more and more over the next few years. To me, it comes off very clear when it's paid and when it's natural. And it's like if you're an influencer, a thought leader, I think for like a brand health perspective, how do you still make it feel natural even when you're paid? Like if that's your job, that's your job, but like what is that commonality? And I think that's what we have to teach when we're talking to executives. It's like you're going to get paid to do this. Some of them literally are. There's like CEOs getting paid to like this. Well, part of their pay is like the expectation to be posting, but there's a difference between doing it to check a box and doing it be what's natural. So I think that's like if we look at influencers, you got to make that like judgment call on this.
Yes. And is this where we're gonna tee up
Yes.
Justin Bieber?
Uh,
Because that is the other video that I was watching about, to this point, how Justin Bieber could have shown up on stage with many high-end luxury brand, or wearing many high-end luxury brands that
yeah.
he's been tied to over the years. And he ended up showing up on stage in his own
Yep.
sweatsuit brand. I don't know what it's called, but you probably know it. And then people are loving it because it's like, okay, he showed up, it was a great branding play, and it's what the majority of the audience that was actually there could afford and
Yeah.
what they would wear.
So I think there's like so much to unpack on what Justin Bieber did, and I don't even think I think it goes into a marketing world, but I don't think he's even thinking of it. So like for me, like I probably know way too much about this story because when he got popular is my radio era. So like Baby, Beauty and the Beat, like all those classics, like that was my radio era. I've introed those songs probably hundreds of times as a radio host. So like I know his story well. We used to report on his story, used to write blogs about him. So like I know the eras and I know like the last 3 4 years, if you're not familiar with his story, there's been a lot of concern over his health. There's been concern as to why he's not doing shows, canceling shows, not producing music, who he's hanging out with. Like there's always been chatter. And for me, I've always personally felt really bad for him, like and like in the way that we do with Britney Spears. So like he's someone like look, it's not the music I listen to on a daily basis, but he's someone when I look at Hollywood and I look at that sector, I root for him quite a bit more than most of them because I don't ever feel like he was a bad person. Like I think he was mixed up in a lot of like people controlling the kid's life, and it took it to places that obviously weren't good. So now fast forwarding to this, he comes out, does his performance. He's playing his YouTube videos. I hope you saw that. Just are you familiar with the YouTube videos?
I'm not. Maybe I saw a short,
Yeah.
and so so was he streaming live? I
So what he did for his performance, for his old music, not his new stuff, but his old music, he pulled up a chair, had his laptop open, and he was playing the YouTube versions of him singing as a kid, and they
Oh
filled up
yes.
the screen with the old school music video, and then he was harmonizing his current voice with his kid voice. And like what was so like natural and moving about it is he was like looking at himself like as a kid performing, and like he was like almost like accepting like that he's still Justin Bieber and accepting what he is now, like looking back. And it just like it was so powerful because it's one of those things where these Hollywood artists, they almost try to get so far away from who they were that it was almost like him coming back to his fans. And I think that moment, because it was no big bands playing, there was no like huge special effects, there was no like brand moments, it was literally him just sitting on a laptop, sometimes sitting in a chair singing his old songs, and the crowd absolutely loved it. And it's not that Coachella is super viral right now as much as Bieber is viral, because the audience, rather than what you're talking about, the influencers, sure, some engage with that, but everybody is like looking at Bieber and being like, wow, like that was the realest performance we've ever seen. And I think there's just a real power to that. someone that didn't script hardly anything and went and karaokeed basically his old songs. And that's what people wanted to see because he looked happy, he looked healthy, he was like coming back to his old self. The fans want to hear the old music, they want to know he's still there. And it was like this like comeback version, but it was a version of himself people haven't seen in like a really, really long time.
Yes, that is totally powerful. And I think we all connected, or a lot of people connected and resonated with it because we know so much of the story now. And just like what you were saying, it is very similar to Britney Spears. Another cautionary tale of
Yeah.
showing when these kids get into this industry and they're not protected,
Yeah.
and he was not protected. And even just recently, like what's been happening. And I heard that he had a confrontation with Usher,
Yeah.
and just basically in a public place, and it's like,
Yeah.
you didn't protect me. So I feel like or I'm hoping, I mean, he went through some deep dark
Very dark
things,
stuff. Yeah.
and the people that did this to him are not really being held accountable. So
Yeah.
I hope this is a journey for him in just getting to that place of recovery and trying to move forward with his life. So you're right. I am definitely team Justin. I'm all
Mhm.
in. I'm rooting for him. And it is very powerful, like what you're saying, the way
And
that he is telling this story.
And if you go back and watch the videos, like the thing that's really interesting is how he turns back and is like watching himself. Like you can almost tell he probably hasn't watched these videos in a long time because he's probably erased this side.
Yeah.
He's like looking back at it and he's like, he almost knows that that's not who he is anymore, but it's still part of like his journey. And he wants it to be with the fans, like in his way, like in a stripped down, like authentic version. So like what this like prompted a lot of was we've never seen anyone do something like this before. Like he actually like he was on the computer, like he went and played a video of when he like had a meltdown versus the paparazzi and kind of like laughed at it and then like moved on. He was already playing YouTube videos for the crowd, and of his viral moments. And it's like he's doing this like revisiting, like it feels unrehearsed. Whether it was rehearsed or not rehearsed, we'll never know, but it feels like he's just doing his thing up there. And it led so many people to be like, this was genius. Like we just have never seen a star do this. For like other people, there are some naysayers out there. They're like, not many artists could just get away with like scrolling YouTube and like doing this like almost like freelance performance. And I guess I could kind of agree with that. It wouldn't work for everyone, but I do think that in a world we keep talking about of being more authentic, less scripted, less advertising, like just show us like who you are. When he's been away for multiple years and he's able to do that in such a way, it should show brands across the board what this could look like. Because to your point, Jess, for these influencers that are like more paid initiatives, it's going to be a paid, we were here, it was cool, and then it's gone in 3 days. For Bieber right here, or just like authenticity, like viral moment, this performance will probably be a Netflix documentary one day. And it's got millions, if not billions, of views of people just like comprehending it right now. And I don't know. It just was like refreshing to me. That's what I liked about it. I watched that and I was like, this is just refreshing. Like it's not going to win any awards for being like a Super Bowl level performance, but I think the people that came and wanted to see him and his big fans, that is what the crowd wanted. They didn't want the theatrics. They want to know that he's okay. They don't want him. They don't want like him like doing an over the top performance where he doesn't address anything. Like they want to know he's okay. They want to hear the old music. They want to be a community. And I think he achieved everything. I just thought it was brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
So yeah, I think, but more than anything, just like a lesson in like lo-fi performances. And again, if you Google it, Jess, you're going to see a bunch of articles. There are going to be people unhappy. But it shows we can't win. You just can't win no matter what you do. So like you have to be yourself and you have to appeal directly to your audience because that's what matters at the end of the day.
You mean unhappy because of the price tag, thinking that it should be more of a high
Yeah.
production based on price?
Well, he got paid $10 million for the performance, which was the highest pay for any artist in the history of Coachella. So they're like the write up is they paid $10 million. He got paid $10 million to do karaoke. Is kind of like the critique. And I'll be like, no, he got paid $10 million to deliver a show that his fans wanted, and the
Yep,
number attack. That's my opinion, and
totally.
like it doesn't matter the production. And that is still to me in a room of marketers, or what I think you and I are getting frustrated with, Jess, is how many marketers want to critique other marketers constantly. In a world we are not rewarded for having the highest production costs. We just have to let that go. And did it work for the audience it intended to? That is the only thing that matters. Did it work for the customer? And if you can say yes, then it worked.
Totally. Yes. Okay. Agreed.
You know,
We're on the same
I
page.
know. So no, it's been a lot of just digesting that for me. I think there's a lot of good references there too. For you seeing people in marketing, like looking back at yourself when you're creative, young, free, like being able to even accept some of the stupid things. Like I think there's like a power in that, and like how he brings it together in such an authentic way. So I hope people got that out of it. Maybe maybe I'm nerding out from my old radio days, but again, that got me out of from being under a cave for a bit.
Okay. That portion of coming
Yes.
out of the rock, acceptable.
Yes. So, like, let me know if you how you feel about this, Jess. But I think this is me as a marketer. Like, would I go pay like $20,000 to go attend Coachella? No. Um, but with anything, what I try to do really hard is I don't think everything is always eminently bad or good. Like there's always like a range. Like so I think there's some good things like that show up there. The performers, the viral moments, but the way it's being run probably wasn't for me. So I'm like I try to like just see it as a range all the time.
Totally. Yes. I mean, and if you are an influencer and when it's now being deemed the influencer Super Bowl,
Yeah.
you, you probably would pay a portion
Yes.
to to show up there because that is your environment, that is the
Yeah.
realm, that's where the market is going. But you're right. If I'm someone that likes festivals or I just like to go to concerts,
Yeah.
probably would not pay that price tag for what this is.
You know what I would be looking at? And this is like, I know apples to oranges. I could tell this to an executive and it'll be like, Andy, you're nuts. Get out of here. But maybe someone will listen. Is Can will come up. In our world, B2B, marketing, Can Festival, that's like the thing. Like, I gotta be honest, Jess. I look at this stuff and like 98% of it, I'm like, it's not relevant to me. There's a couple parts I'm like, okay, that's kind of interesting. I will look at this as an executive, and are we just going there to like have a executive thought leadership influencer festival that's like only cool between us, or am I going there to uplift the brand? And I'd use Justin Bieber as a example of if you can create some sort of like really authentic moment with your voice and the stage that you'll have there, that can carry beyond the festival. So you're not just like tied to like whatever's happening there that's critiqued good or bad, but you can expand past that and create your own narrative, which is I think a big learning here from Bieber.
You'll see when the worlds collide or when the crossover is next year. I'm telling you this as a cautionary tale, but next year, if we see executives of these brands there and pumping out content,
Yeah.
then we will know that the world is gone
Yeah.
to a very bad place.
That or we'll have AI influencers at Coachella in a couple years.
Oh boy.
That'll be when
Okay,
it gets
but are
really
we
good.
calling it now? Let's see what executive shows up at Coachella next year
Yeah.
is pumping out content.
Yes.
and putting it on LinkedIn. Oh, let's
Yeah.
do it. Let's
I
just
mean,
go for
so
it.
that may not be a bad, just that may not be a terrible idea though, because Coachella's not flooded on LinkedIn. So if you're the executive there, that might be a good space. Like you may actually own that white space. So I actually don't think that's a terrible idea.
Oh boy.
As long as they're not selling their soul, like as long as they're actually having fun. Like that's my thing. Like I want to see you actually enjoying it. You're not just there being like, well, this was a really good promotion we did. It was $38 million, and I was really it was really successful, and it was great. Glad we could be able to have this long-standing partnership. Like like give me some juice, give me some fun, some oomph.
Yeah, and you just bring up a really good point here, and just thought leadership and influence in general. It is converting those marketing moments or translating them into what it means for the business.
Yeah,
And to do that, you can't just infer, you actually have to put your judgment into it, and like that critical thinking. It all comes back to the critical thinking
yeah,
in this space, and the people that can do that and put their spin on it, and show their value in explaining clearly and what it means to their community,
yeah,
they're winning.
yeah. That's 2026 in a nutshell. We talk about personalities, brand lo-fi, but there's a lot out there. So like you got to almost figure out which ones are your community. And when I scroll through my TikTok feed, which ones I'm going to say not I don't want to see anymore from again, because I do that. Like it's something I don't like. I'm like, don't show it to me again, and then that just I keep curating it over time.
I bet. I bet. Not the making of the marketer though.
Yeah.
That is.
No, we want to see that. That shows up all the time on mine, so they know. But we're at time now, Jess. So any other Coachella thoughts before we leave us and get back to our marketing programming for our next episodes?
It's always good to put some critical thinking into this. So I'm happy that you brought it to the surface. I'm happy that we got to talk about Justin Bieber, and now I'm ready to put it back to bed.
Yeah. Till
And
next year.
I was gonna say, and try not to think of it again.
Yeah.
Again, unless those executives show
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. Well, until then, maybe we'll be believers. I'm sure Spotify numbers are much higher than they were a week ago. So, go listen, go watch some of the videos, get some inspiration, and we'll be back next week.
Sounds good.
Bye, everyone.